Hi guys, welcome to the Citizen channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Please, if you are new to this channel, please push that subscribe button. We do everything city, past and present here on these little vlogs, so I do try and inform and entertain, and there's some links on screen as well for Facebook and Twitter where I do post loads of city stuff. So if you follow a friend me on there, I do check every few days and follow and friend everyone back. And if you do get a chance, please have a check out my film and TV channel as well, which I try and inform and entertain on there, and all the latest films and TV drama here in the UK and from around the world. So if you can check that out, that will be fantastic. Anyway, hope you enjoy today's feature. Right, today we're going to have a look at a new city magazine. Yeah, a new season, a new magazine. Unfortunately, it's not like these guys here that we used to have. It's a digital magazine. So, as in last year where we had the programmes as digital, we've now got a monthly magazine. Yeah, I'll go over to City in a minute to see how they're explaining it. But yeah, I do miss that. I mean, that if you look through something like that, which is one of the last ones there, I mean, it was superb. I mean, the content was brilliant. A lot of people didn't like the magazines, but I loved the magazines. And yeah, we'll go over to City and have a chat about them. We're going to have a look through this digital one anyway as well later. So I'll give it little marks out of 10 as well, and start at 6 out of 10 if it's an okay article and anything a little bit special. So we'll have a look at the September 2021 issue of this new City magazine, digital magazine. But yeah, just over to City, their little introduction on this. What they say is, welcome, this is quoting from their opening page of the magazine. Welcome back to the City magazine. It's been a while, it certainly has. Some 10 years ago, almost to the day, City's long-running official club magazine ceased to be. There you go, almost to the day. August 2012. What have we done then? We just won the FA Cup. We just got to start on a glorious run, weren't we? So what do? We just get rid of our magazine. Seems logical to me. Hey, there. Anyway, back to City. I digress, don't I? Having launched in September 1995, thanks to this young guy here. We did have one back in 1967 as well. I've got that somewhere, but I forgot to get that out. But yeah, anyway, we'll pass over that. They've obviously forgot about the 1967 magazine they brought out as well. But hey, there you go. Having launched in September 1995, the magazine ran for the next 16 years, charting relegation from the Premier League in its first year to our rise from the third tier and winning the 2011 FA Cup before the presses stopped rolling. They certainly did. Though the sales figures were healthy. Okay, they were healthy. Why stop? Why stop at such a crucial time in our history? The magazine's production halted just as the club were about to embark on an unforgettable 2011-12 Premier League campaign. It certainly did, and that seemed to be that until now. Yeah, well, okay. Our new look online digital City magazine is back and will be available to all our supporters once a month throughout the 21-22 season. It doesn't go any further than that. I mean, it's not saying it'll be there next year either. Perhaps we'll go hard copy next year. Becoming, we hope, essential reading in the process. The new digital City mag is free. There you go. It's free for one and all. We can't complain, can we? That's why I'm only not going to score anything less than 6 out of 10. I'd be a bit churlish if I did, wouldn't I? Each month we will have exclusive content showcasing first-team players, backroom staff, Manchester City's legion of women's stars, EDS and under-18s names to look out for, and a host of new and some old features. So there you go. So let's have a look at September 2021. What do we get? What bang do we get for our book? But for nothing. We should be grateful for anything, shouldn't we? But yeah, it opens with Grealish, as you'd probably expect. More or less what we've read and heard over the last few days. Obviously, I'm recording this a couple of days before the season kicks off at Spurs, of course. So some nice images, though. I mean, the images, you've got to doubt use them as wallpaper. I'm sure City aren't averse to that. You know, we can use it and it helps them, doesn't it? So yeah, so there's some nice images, etc. But as I said, mostly stuff we've heard before. And there's a link if you want to buy your own Grealish shirt. There, yeah, kids between £70 and £75 if you want to buy a Grealish shirt, and adults £85 to £90. No, I think I'll leave it, guys. But anyway, thanks for the offer. But there are links there for that. Yeah, so that little article on Grealish, I mean, I'm going to give it the basic 6 out of 10. There's nothing extraordinary, put it that way. And the next item, yeah, we've got one of our old heroes from '99 back yet, Mr. Andy Morrison. It's the month ahead with Andy Morrison, who assesses our opponents for the month. Well, sort of the next 4 games, not necessarily for the rest of August. It goes into September as well. He looks briefly at Spurs game, Norwich game, Arsenal and Leicester game. Nothing too too in depth on it, to be honest with you. There's no real in depth analysis on the club. Just some general information. Probably take you about a minute to read it, to be honest with you. So again, I'm only going to give it 6 out of 10. But I mean, Andy Morris is a busy lad. He's managing that other club, isn't he, in Wales? I mean, he doesn't have time to do these sort of things. You're going to get writers and people in City. You don't get someone who's got a bit more time. Then it's on to a bit of history. You know, I like my history as I do, and you know that. And what it does, it's called the list. This, and it's obviously it may change every month. I'm not too sure, but it does the top 5 opening day victories. It's not exactly what you'd think, actually, which I quite like. I don't like it to be as obvious as the top 5 opening day victories. It's a bit of a mishmash, and it features 5 games dating back to 2001, although most of them are sort of in the 2010s. I think there's one game in 2001. Yeah, there's some significance. It might be a new manager, or it might be an important season, or it pans out to be an important season, etc., etc. But there's just literally about 4 or 6 paragraphs on each game. Again, probably about 5 or 6 lines, tops like that. So again, not much information. It's okay. Again, it'd probably take you a couple of minutes to read it, but yeah, not what I was hoping for in a little, obviously, on what I was hoping to see anyway. But hey, there you go. I'll have to give it a 6 out of 10 because it didn't cost anything, did it? But yeah, if you look back on, say, 5 games, it was an interesting premise. But obviously, I would probably, people like me would delve far deeper into the actual ins and outs of it. But there you go. And then we got a regular columnist, Mr. Paul Dickoff, as well. I'm sorry, my Mark. I know my son's not a big fan, only because of the way he celebrated when he scored against City. But he didn't like that when he scored. Obviously, because he was a big hero of my lads, and to celebrate. Well, that's just what Paul Dickoff does. That's just how he is. Not every footballer hangs his head in shame when he scores against the former club, did he? But it's the expected thing. But anyway, we digress. Mr. Dickoff is going to be the regular columnist. He talks generally about him and other players' thoughts. I mean, like, I think Golter didn't look forward to a new season, the training and the build up to it. I think Dickoff said he did. So he talks generally about that. And he talks like to the build up for the 98-99 season. Don't forget our first season in the 3rd tier when we were going to play Blackpool at home. I was at that one. So he talks a little bit more about that as well, and players' attitudes. And obviously we know how the season panned out. Obviously it didn't go so well for the early parts of the season, of course. But yeah, so it's not a bad article, and he gives his brief thoughts on how City are sort of approaching this Tottenham game, which is the first game of the season as well. So again, some okay bits, but again, lacking a little bit of depth as far as general detail, and I wanted to know a little bit more about things. So again, I'm only going to mark it 6 out of 10, but probably a 2-3 minutes read or something like that. And then the first article I found quite good, actually. It's nothing to do with the men, though. It was a question and answer thing with Janine Becky, of course, the gold medal winner for playing for Canada, wasn't she, at the football, the City player. So possibly one of I think there's another item I liked, but certainly one of the best pieces in this little magazine. Though it's not male. I'm not really into the women's side. I hope they do well, but it's not. But I found it quite interesting. She has general specific questions about City, but obviously she talks about what happened in Tokyo with the COVID stuff and all that sort of thing. I found that quite interesting. So yes, as far as a mark's concerned, I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10. I quite enjoyed that little article. It's worth a little read. There's a Fantasy Premier League roundup. I have no idea. Obviously, that's if you pick your fantasy teams, isn't it? I did have a go a couple of years ago, but I got bored after about 2 months. So it's not something I'm that interested in, but it talks about the values and stuff of the City players. I mean, if you can only have, is it 3 players from one team anyway? But anyway, it gives a summary of what the KDB's worth and what you have to pay for him and stuff like that. But of course, it might be of interest to some people. It's no real interest to me, and on the basis that it will be of interest to some people who like that sort of thing, I'll give it 6.5 out of 10 because I like that in a magazine. I like some little quirky bits as well, not just the straightforward players and backroom staff stuff. I do like those little. Well, if you watch any of my vlogs with my little, I try and do a wide range of magazines sort of stuff, which is this is a magazine, so we should expect that. But I'll give it 6.5 out of 10. As I said, it's not of interest to me, but if you like your fantasy Premier League stuff, that was quite good to me from what I know about it. Then we're introduced to Ben Wilkinson, the new under-18 coach. He's been with City and other guises and doing other things, but But of course, he's a son to, I wouldn't have known this until I read it, a son, of course, to Howard Wilkinson, the Sheffield Wednesday manager, and obviously title winner with Leeds United, wasn't he, before the Premier League came in. So that was a nice piece with some background and his hopes for the role he'll play. So I quite enjoyed that. As I say, I didn't know much about it until he was Howard Wilkinson's son, etc. That was quite interesting. So I'll give that a 6.5 out of 10. That was, again, not long. None of these articles are long. None of these articles will take you more than 2 or 3 minutes to read. I mean, I'm a fast reader anyway, but yeah, they're just snippets. You can pick them up, can't you? So I'll give that 6.5 out of 10. And returning, yes, from his stint in last season's match programme digital copy was, of course, Marc Riley, who I do like. I like Marc Riley. And he's carrying on his mixed grill where he sort of interviews celebrities or city link stuff, and it's obviously a great start to this one because he's got one of my heroes from the old days, the guy who won me a radio cassette player at the Manchester City Social Club in the 70s, and a darts competition. So I mean, it was my hero anyway. But to win me a radio cassette player, which I could take Radio 1 Top 20 on and all this sort of thing with the buttons and getting it right to the end of the record, that was fantastic in those days in the 70s. I loved it. So yeah, we're talking Joe Corrigan. I digress. Yeah, a wonderful Joe Corrigan. Some great questions as well. He doesn't ask some obvious questions, and he asks some quirky questions, which I like. I don't like the obvious football related questions. I like to know what colour socks you prefer and all this sort of. This is what I like when players are asked, ex-players are asked questions. But one interesting one was his least favourite opponents. Yeah, and unusually he said, I've not had a look at this, see how he did go on against them, but he said Wolves at Molineux. Yeah, and he said he couldn't explain it. He just didn't like playing at Molineux, and I can understand that. I can fully understand why. Certain places have a feel about them. Whether you're playing on a certain park on a Sunday, or you're playing at a ground, or you're going to a ground and it's okay, but it just doesn't feel right. And that was an interesting one. He did say himself it was strange, but that's good. Yeah, so there's lots of stuff on that. And again, I'd rate that as highly, probably because it's Joe Corrigan, but as a Janine Becky article. So I'm going to give that 7 out of 10. But it's basic questions and answers. But as I say, I do like that sort of stuff. The technical area we go on to has John Edwards looking at the backroom staff. So today, in this issue of the City Digital magazine, they looked at Alan Mahon, M-A-H-O-N. I don't know how to pronounce that. Alan Mahon. I can't have that. My apologies. Who's obviously the assistant manager, I think, of the women's team. That wasn't bad. There's some interesting responsibilities as the assistant manager. As I think he did almost everything apart from make the half-time cups of tea or something like that. But that was interesting. I did enjoy that article. That was, as I say, again, it's the woman's side, which I've no real interest in, but it's just interesting to look at the setup and how they do things. So I'd give that a 6.5 out of 10. That was interesting. And then it's a celebrity blue, and we all know him. We've seen him a lot. A little more about the actor and, of course, Matchday Live presenter Kel Spellman, who's obviously been given another year in charge of that production. And he talks to John Edwards about how he became a City fan and his family were City fans, etc. And how he got into acting and stuff like that. Again, a good article. It's interesting to know about Kel. I mean, you can go and find out more on Kel anyway. If you look at various sites, it's out there. He's got his little biographies and stuff like that. But he's really happy now to present this Matchday Live, especially when he's working alongside his sort of childhood heroes, if you like Sean Goulter and stuff. So that's absolutely fantastic. But a nice little piece on Kel. I mean, I'm going to give that 6.5 out of 10. It's not overly long, but again, it was interesting. And then another one returning from the digital programme, the Manchester City programme from last season, is Kevin Cummins. Yeah, so you're always guaranteed a few good pictures. Not so many this time with this, to be honest with you, but a few little delves into the past. And he talks about a commission he did to photograph the Aston Villa players back in 2016. Of course, a certain Mr. Grealish was there, and he ended up having to lend Kevin's credit card, and Kevin said he was a bit careful and made sure he got it back off him, which is a bit mean to say, but obviously that's just a bit of fun, obviously. So there's a little piece from Kevin Cummins. Again, it's more images, not great detail on that. Only takes a minute or two to read it, but some of the images are okay. You've probably seen them up on screen there, and he just liked the way he could take photographs of like his socks and his shin pads and stuff, as well as the obvious player profiles, and talks a bit about the shoot and how then that he didn't really enjoy those sort of things as opposed to shooting pop groups and stuff like that, or rock groups, or whichever sort of group you talk about. But yeah, so it is a bit short, but it's okay. I'll give it the standard 6 out of 10. And I always like with Kevin Cummins things to see any good old pictures that I might never have seen, you know, which are always good. But not so much on this one. It's just really Grealish and Villa, isn't it? A best 11, yeah, this is an interesting one. You get it from ex-players doing them. We've had those in the past, of course, but we've got a best 11 of themed City players, and this week it's a mix of pace. What they've done is pick City players with pace over the years and players who didn't shirk a challenge, who were tough guys, in other words. An interesting mix, of course, in this lot. The 11 and the subs is on the screen, but of course, from the pace of people like David White and Kyle Walker going up to modern day, to the toughness and the hardness of people like Mike Doyle, of course, and Jerry Gow. There you go. So interesting little mix. I'll see. Obviously, be interesting to see what different sort of traits they put over the month. I'm sure they probably won't do it every month, but obviously be interesting to see. There's a brief paragraph on all the guys they mentioned, a little bit about them, but nothing too in depth again. But it's okay. It's fine. I'd give that a 6 out of 10. Then another slightly better article again, and it's back to the woman's side. I'm getting more interested in the woman's theme on this programme. There's a piece on Lucy Bronze, who of course came back to City in September 2020, didn't she? And she had to adapt to a new style. A new manager, of course, was in charge, and obviously she did appear at the Olympics with England. I think we had 12, did we, players for the UK team? Sorry, not England. Yeah, but there's not much on that one, obviously, but they did that with Janine earlier on, didn't they? So it sort of mainly concentrates on City season, how it could have been so much better, etc. Now she had to sort of readapt back into the, you know, from being one of the top players, she's had to sort of work her way back into the side, sort of thing. So that was interesting. I enjoyed that article. It was interesting. It's something I don't really know much about. So again, give it a 6.5 out of 10. And it finishes with just a couple of links. And there's a link to some history stuff with a picture of Dennis Law and some new kit images, so various players in the home kit and the away kit. So you can just click on the link and go to that. But there you go, that's the end of the magazine. As I said, it works well on the phone, it works well on a smartphone. Scrolling down, you can look at it. You've been on the City website and you've looked at these things in the past. They do work very well, and you get an overlay and stuff. Obviously on a laptop you get a little bit, you get more links and stuff like that, but it works just as well on a smartphone as it does on a laptop. So it's okay, as I said, for you to spend literally just 5 minutes, you can read a couple of articles you fancy. I mean, all right, it's not going to keep you enthralled for hours on end, but as I said, it probably take you about 15-20 minutes if you like. If you're a quick reader like me, about 15 minutes to read every single word in the articles, if you like, and look at the pictures. But obviously, if you take a bit more time, you can sort of delve into it and just read an article or two at a time. If you just just waiting for something, if you're waiting for an egg to boil or something like that, you can do that. But there are some nice pictures. Personally, of course, it was the Joe Corrigan thing that stood out, and the things on the girls' team, which are the ladies' team, which I don't really know that much about, but that was more interesting perhaps than some of the stuff from Andy Morrison and Dickoff, etc., which tend to lack a little bit of depth I like to see in an article, to be honest with you. Yes, but there you go. I mean, it's free, so we can't really complain, can we? I mean, I would love to have one of these backwards. I mean, flicking through that, it's superb. I mean, the content is excellent. All right, they try and put different things in there, and some people object to stuff about games and films and stuff like that. But hey, that's what a magazine actually means, that, doesn't it? A TV magazine, you look at all different aspects of the club, and I love that side of it. But yeah, I would love a hard copy, of course, but we are where we are, aren't we? It is what it is. But who knows? The match day programme, they may have bring us a fresh new style in there. It may get back to sort of the quality some of the older City programmes, when we used to win awards for our programmes, if you think back in time. So hopefully obviously I'll be doing a look at that for the Norwich game, our first game of the season. I'll be obviously doing a little special on that and seeing if it's worth the. I did ask City what price was this season, whether it's still going to be £3 or has it gone up in price, but I've not had an answer to that yet. But let's hope it's as I say, we certainly know that perhaps Marc Riley's not going to be in it if he's in this digital one, but he may be. You never know. And people like Paul Dickoff, etc., why not? They could do more than one thing, can't they? Say it's only once a month anyway. So, yeah, there you go. Let's see what that is. But as far as this digital copy is concerned, Yeah, have a look. Have a look. It's all right. I say for now, it's all right. It's not ideal for us people who like collecting programs and magazines and stuff like that, but it's out there. So give it a read. City have made the effort. So as I say, based on that introduction before, you know, it might not be around next season if you don't at least click on it and get the links and go on it and have a look at it and stuff like that. I don't know if it's important to them that you do that. I don't know, but do it anyway. Just have a look. It's worth a look. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. If you do get a chance to have a look through it, let me know what your thoughts are. But overall, I'd give it, say, 6.5. I'd be kind. I'll say 6.5 out of 10 for the old product. But there you go. Anyway, thanks for watching. What are you going to do the rest of the day? Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other till we meet here again on the Citizen channel. I'll perhaps have a flit across. Have a look at my film and TV channel. I won't have a little break from football. I only ever ask one thing, don't I, guys? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.